In Katsina State, northwest Nigeria, armed bandits wield control and influence in several local government areas. The bandits tax farmers and determine where to farm or engage in commercial activities. We have a special report by Nisi Gabriel, who's just returned from Katsina, and he tried to find out the root cause or causes of banditry in Katsina.
According to residents, the prevailing insecurity in the northwest of Nigeria began as community conflicts between predominant Hausa farmers and Fulani herders. It's metamorphosed into banditry, which includes armed robbery, kidnapping, murder, rape, and cattle rustling. It now has a multinational dimension with cross-border operations, especially between Nigeria and Niger Republic.
Cattle breeders, they are moving around everywhere you never think of. As I said, they don't have one single settlement. They move around and they network. So a Fulani man from Mauritania who was in Nigeria in the last 20 years can come back to Nigeria to support a herder in Nigeria after 10 years when that man is attacked by a Hausa man or by any other institution. So that is why, if you look at the way they are conducting their operations, you know they must have been receiving a lot of training. The question, some other questions that we have, how do they get access to AK-47, AK-49, RPG, among other sophisticated arms that are available within the bush, within the forest?
Those conversants with the origin of the farmers' herders clash also talk of injustice and marginalization of the minority Fulani in this region, especially the nomadic herders, a narrative that is said to be responsible for the rise in banditry.
This problem was founded by our so-called leaders. I have to accuse our leaders because they were the ones who pledges that they will govern people with justice and fairness. This Fulani, or the banditries, were polluted by the authorities in the past. Because earlier before we were living peacefully. Katsina is one of the most peaceful area in the north, or in the nation at large, entirely. But now, people are very afraid to even mention Katsina, not even to reside in Katsina. The Fulani, who were allegedly become the banditry, or who were being called the bandits, they were rich enough to carry on their activities in the bush. But what is in point of question? Who stole their cattle in the past? Who stole their cattle, and how do they get weapons?
They are marginalized because of lack of provision of social amenities. They are marginalized because of government allow encroachment, land encroachment, that is grazing reserve encroachment. They were marginalized because they were not being provided required amenities. They were marginalized because some of our politicians have mentioned that, if you take the case of Zamfara State, there were instances of a time when almost the administration made a declaration that if you see a Fulani man, just kill him, don't allow him. So a clash, these politicians use a strategy of divide and rule.
The Fulanis were feeling, since their means of livelihood is animal rearing, and they used to move on these free grazing reserves, which has now been encroached, converted into farms because of population explosion and climate change. They have the cattle, but they don't know where to take them to. That led to conflicts. And they felt the government, in resolving the conflict, took sides with the local farmers. And that's why their victims are usually the local communities. So that's the genesis, and that's what we're trying to address.
Banditry has seen many of the Fulanis losing their cattle to rustlers, thereby leaving them with no source of livelihood. Some say, as a result, they have to engage in crime to survive. As banditry has become a lucrative industry, many Fulani headsmen have now joined, some engaging in arms dealing or transportation for terrorist groups.
That's how we are trying to change the perspective. Instead of an average Fulani man to carry sticks for controlling his cattle, he's not carrying weapons. No. And you see, this aspect of criminality is imported by the nomads from other countries, especially Mali, Togo, Niger, that used to come annual movement. And that's what our knowledge is giving us now, and that's what we're trying to checkmate.
However, a school of thought believes that these crimes are just a tool to divert attention from the illegal mining activities in the savannah.
The saboteurs are sabotaging the government and sabotaging the citizens. And they are within the government cycle. Some are prominent business moguls, some are even government workers, and the other groups who are spontaneous and subversive. They are the ones who are exposing the secrets of our countries to the foreign superpowers who are after our mineral resources in order to bring confusion that will never bring rain and peace in our lovely and dear country, Nigeria.
The initial approach of the Katsina State government was to negotiate with the bandits, a move that has since been discontinued because the peace deals have not yielded desired results.
It did not fail, but it was not based on a platform that is sustainable. You know, when you base your deal on a sustainable platform, it will succeed. And I think that's why His Excellency, in his wisdom, feel he should bring in people of knowledge that can discern the problem for him and work on a sustainable platform that will lead to an enduring peace and security in the state. So the initial peace deal, there was the goodwill, and both parties were ready to adhere to it. But because the concept upon which it was based was not traceable, and that's why the parties that were involved gradually reneged.
This is something that has to be done in the open. You involve all segments of, all significant components of the northern society in such discussions. Bring in leaders of the initially aggrieved pastoral communities that have now turned bandits, and they should be made to understand that by resort to arms, they have committed an offense against the state.
The governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, blames northern elites for the problems.
Tell me, all the security agencies are being headed by northerners. Is it not true? Do they have any region other than North? So you see, we, as I sit here, as we sit here, we are the problem of ourselves. The bandits are northerners. The insurgents, Boko Haram, those recruited in Nigeria are northerners, killing northerners. It's not a southerner killing any northerner. So the issue of even competing with them, that certain things are done there, things are not done here, doesn't even arise yet. We value politics and position more than our people.
However, security experts say why the bandits have become the new law and order, the federal and state authorities have what it takes to end banditry and all forms of criminality if tackled with sincerity. Nisi Gabriel, Arise News, Katsina State.